Tonight, we find planet.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of braggadocio when you make a movie and you plan in your initial movie for the sequels. It's kind of assuming that people are going to want to see the sequels. And I think you take even a bigger risk on that if you do something like a martial arts or action type film. So what the guys who made tonight's lesson plan do, were they able to pull it off? Well, glad you asked, because cinematic class is about to begin. Your professor. Is it? Greetings, salutations, another sundry affair. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies, and tonight's lesson plan is called Fist of the Condor. Now, I have to tell you that I wanted to see this movie because of the main star of the film, who is Marco Zoror. Now, Marco is really making a name for himself on the martial arts circuit, and I was kind of interested to see how he would perform. He not only takes this movie, but goes so far as to have a dual role. Okay, so there are twin brothers, and he's playing both. The brothers are Guerrero and Gamello. And let's talk a little bit about this guy's martial arts first, okay? They're pretty good. Okay. When you watch the fight sequences in this, he has some really good hand techniques. For the movie, they've done... everybody knows what wire fu is, right? Okay. For the uninitiated, wire fu was made popular in the Oriental martial arts movies. They literally connect people to wires, and folks fly through the air because they have this great control of their chi, and they're able to do these amazing superhuman feats while they're fighting with their chosen martial art. Okay. All of the big name stars have done wire fu in one form or another. Everyone from Chow Yun-fat all the way to Steven Seagal have utilized the wire fu for something or other. I like to call what Marco's using as ballet fu. All right? Because what you have here are a group of fights that are centered around ballet moves, if you will. Okay, let me give you an example. There's a famous story that when Bruce Lee made Enter the Dragon, there were two scenes that he was really kind of disappointed with, and in 2020 hindsight, he would have done differently or done over. One of those scenes is right after he's done fighting Sammo. The members of the Shaolin Temple hold up their hands like this, and he does spins from a cartwheel, spins over their hands, and lands on his feet. Well, that wasn't Bruce. He didn't do that, okay? They brought in a gymnast who could actually perform that cartwheel, jump, spin, land. And that always bothered Bruce, that was one of the scenes that it was supposed to be him, but it wasn't him, okay? This movie is like that, okay? They have used people who, these guys are like spinning around and flipping up high, and it's all this, ta-da, ta-da! It's like Pilates in air. It's what it's like fighting. So when you mix those dance moves, a little help probably from the wire, you get the ballet foo. And when the guy's on the ground, when Marco's on the ground and he's fighting, he's got some really good technique. It's clean, it's sharp, nice hand techniques, nice kicks. When they go into this stuff, it enters the realm, if you will, of really fantasy stuff.
Era verdad todos los mitos sobre ti. ¿Quién crees que soy? El maestro del puño del cóndor.
떠나기 전 한마디 말을 했어. 세계 남쪽 산맥에서 길을 잃었다.
No debí contarle a nadie, pero le conté a mi hermano. Tengo que estar listo. Listo por si me encuentra. O listo por si yo lo encuentro a él. Él merece su venganza. Y yo merezco su castigo. Mira tu dolor. Y bótalo todo hasta que no pese nada. Habítalo y transfórmate en él. Y tu cuerpo liviano podrá volar.
All right, so what caught me off guard on this movie is as I turned it in, and the title came up, Fist of the Condor, and then in small print underneath it says Chapter 1, and I went, Chapter 1? What? Then, to make things even more confusing, they break the movie up into chapters. So there's 8 chapters in this movie, which is actually Chapter 1 of the saga. Okay, you following that? Now, are the other chapters in the saga planned? I would think they've got to be planned because this story doesn't end. This literally is Chapter 1. It presents the main characters, it presents the main conflict, and then it kind of leaves you hanging high and dry. Will there be other chapters? I think that's going to depend on how well this is received at the box office.
¿Quién crees que soy? El maestro del puño del cóndor.
Okay, so we have some people that are starring along with Marco in this. Master Wook is played by Man Soo-yoon, and Kalari is played by Ilya Meyer. Gina Aguad plays Murjera Condor. They're kind of mystical figures in this thing, all tied into this mystical way of fighting, which is based on the condor, the bird. This whole movie is directed by Ernesto Diaz, and for a first chapter, I guess he's done a fairly good job of putting this together, although it is a little bit disjointed. It uses montages, so I guess that's always good. And the fight scenes are always very elaborate, very much reminiscent of the Chinese kung fu movies. This movie, the martial art is kind of odd in this because they've mixed what looks like a little bit of Chinese or Indonesian martial arts with a little bit of South American martial arts. and the whole movie is in Spanish, so you have to read the subtitles to it.
¡Acción!
So Fist of the Condor follows a lot of the typical martial arts movie tropes. You have warring brothers, that's always a common theme. You have a magical book that details the art behind the Fist of the Condor. You have someone who wants to avenge a death in a family. And last but certainly not least, probably one of the big ones, especially in Chinese martial arts, you have a student who wants to avenge the death of his master. So all of those idioms, tropes, if you will, from martial arts movies are mixed into this one film. Now, speaking of mixing, it might be a good time to mix timelines and go back to the early Cretaceous period for the nation's first and only prehistoric film critic, Rex.
All that writing or not a story.
Rex, he's a toughie. I'm going to give this one about a C+. Mainly because it's not complete. So we only have a piece of the story. If they don't make Fist of the Condor chapters, whatever else come down the pike, you never got the story. Okay, that's not a good thing. If they do make it, then you can judge the work as a whole. This first chapter in this saga is okay. There are some scenes that are a little disjointed. There are some scenes taken out of context. They try to do that time shift storytelling. And with a story that's already in chapters, that's not necessarily a good thing. The fighting seems to fight itself in the film between really good martial arts and ballet fou, if you will. So when they finally decide on a style, that might be a little indication of something going on a little bit better. Little trepidation on this one. We'll give it a C+. We'll wait and see if Chapter 2 comes out and how the story develops from there. And now that you have learned what you have learned, here in your